I went on an 11-day cruise around the Caribbean on Virgin Voyages Resilient Lady, and I'm going to share with you guys everything that I did on my cruise stop. Now, I flew into Puerto Rico in order to get on this cruise ship, and after 3 days at sea, our first port call was Colombia, where I did a street food tour. Now, this was my least favorite port stop throughout my entire experience, but I'll explain in a separate video. Now, our second port stop was in Curacao. This is my first time visiting here. Now, here's where I did a UCV tour across the island, and this experience was booked with Curacao activities, and it was so much fun. We ended up going through a bat cave. We ended up stopping by some local beaches as well as a local beach club. And I can say this experience was a lot of fun, but I also want to mention, if you plan to do this experience, please be prepared to get really dirty. Now, port call number 3 was in Aruba, and this is one of my favorite places to visit as I've flown into here before. Now, I went to Lola's Taqueria, which is a Mexican restaurant that I went to the last time I was here, and their food is still top notch. Later on that night, I ended up getting invited out to one of the first speakeasies in the Caribbean by some of my favorite YouTubers, Addie and Terry. Now, I ended up spotting them my very first day on the cruise ship, and they were hosting their own little cruise group trip, and it looked like a lot of fun. They ended up inviting me out for the night, and the crazy thing is, this is my first ever time visiting a speakeasy. Like, I've always heard of them, but I've never been to one, so I appreciate Addie and Terry for so much for inviting me.
I finally met you. It was so much fun. I know. And Terry in the back. Oh, Terry. Oh, man.
Now, port call number 4 was in Martinique, and this was not our original port call. They ended up changing it like the night before, which I was extremely disappointed. Our original port call was in St. Lucia. So this day, I really didn't have anything to do, so I just went to the beach and had lunch. Now, I have about 3 other port stops that I'm going to highlight in a separate video, but if you want me to highlight each individual activity that I did here, let me know in the comments. And as always, be sure to like and follow for more of my adventures.